Charlie seeing vampire Bella for the first time is really heartbreaking and haunting and scary. He doesn't recognize her. He doesn't recognize the sound of her voice. He's like very scared and devastated. I think they did a pretty good job of showing this in the movie. We get this like heartwarming / bittersweet moment here, but I'll show you how it's described in the book. But first of all, I was getting asked this. Charlie doesn't like technically know that Bella is a vampire. It's actually so ridiculous. He just knows that there's something different about Bella, because the whole point of Jacob turning into a werewolf in front of him was like to show him that like magic and things that he wouldn't believe like exist in the world, and something close to that had to happen to Bella so she could survive without like technically knowing about the existence of vampires. It really does not make any sense, and they don't tell him that Ramchata is their child, but he does infer by like looking at her, and he's like very like enchanted by her. The whole thing is very creepy. Charlie enters and Carlisle says, "Hello, Charlie," looking appropriately abashed. After all, we were supposed to be in Atlanta at the Center for Disease Control. Charlie knew he had been lied to, and he doesn't recognize Bella in the room. And he's like, "Carlisle, where's Bella?" And she's like, "Right here, Dad." And she says her voice was so wrong because she knows her voice sounds completely different now. Like her voice sounds like wind chimes, and she was trying to like make it sound normal. And she's also trying not to unalive Charlie. And she says, "Charlie's blank expression told me how off my voice was. His eyes zeroed in on me and widened. I read the emotions as they scrolled across his face. Shock, disbelief, pain, loss, fear, anger, suspicion, more pain." And he says, "Is that you, Bella?" And remember, Bella also doesn't recognize herself when she looks in the mirror the first time. Bella talks about how great he smells, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Really and truly great, healthy as a horse." And he says, "Jake told me this was necessary, that you were dying." And he said the words like he didn't believe them one bit. And Edward makes up this story about how Recycling Bin is their niece, and he says, "I lost my parents. My older brother was adopted like me. I never saw him after that, but the courts located me when he and his wife died in a car accident, leaving their only child without any other family." But Charlie doesn't buy this story, and Charlie is like very enchanted by this scary looking child like everybody else, and he notices how much she looks like Bella, and he like obviously infers that it's their kid, and he's like trying to count backward to fit 9 months into one, and she's just like, "Need to know, Charlie, it's okay, I promise." And like I said, the only thing we hear about Renee is they're like, "I don't know how much we should tell Renee about this, it's not for the faint of heart," and then they just don't address it. Charlie gets to hold rumor monger because they instructed her that she's not allowed to bite Grandpa Charlie, but was consoled with the fact that she was still allowed to bite Jacob. Bella and Charlie hug. The whole thing's very creepy and sad. And of course, everybody else seems to point out how much Roku looks like Bella, and Bella's always like, "No, she looks like Edward." Like, I hate it, of course.